Eric Deters, the Bulldog, on Real Talk 1160. And Sensible Don, I think that you will agree with me, and I'm sure TC will too. Thank God there's nobody else in the studio, finally, but just us.
Is that right? Is it just us?
I mean, you know what? It gets a little old, doesn't it?
Yes,
Having a room full of people, you got to give them all a chance to talk. You got women that want to hog the microphone. I mean, isn't it nice to be alone again?
And you've got to have a microphone for every member of the audience.
I know. I mean, don't you feel better already?
I feel fine, boss. Whatever you want to do is
My good. So you didn't mind when it was all crowded?
As long as they're cute.
Well, I just want to announce to the world of Bulldog Nation that, yep, I got sanctioned.
Oh, no, you did.
Yep, she was driving to do yoga at 8:30 to 9, and I got sanctioned.
Try to keep your mouth shut, but no, you won't listen.
What did we say between 8:30 and 9?
It didn't matter what I said. There was a female with a microphone in the studio. And you know what that means? Sanction.
The only problem, you open your mouth
I
and there was a female.
hope she's listening this morning so she will realize we are female free.
That's right. All male in here.
Okay, wait a minute. So we have our other co-hosts are not here because the big boss.
No.
Disapproved.
Lori Taylor had to go to some business meeting. She's out of town.
Okay.
And that's why she's not here.
Okay.
And Alex, the law clerk's day is Tuesday. So that's why. And, of course, we got John. This is going to be funny. Bick's going to show up. He'll be mad that Lori Taylor's not here.
That's right.
He'll get some mic time, though. Get some air time.
Absolutely. We are going to start taking advantage of this, and I told Sensible Don when we got here, and I got an idea for tomorrow for show and tell. But since we got the video cast, we have to do some show and tell. So I brought something as a show and tell, and I think it'll intrigue. We got to be creative and have fun. The other thing is, Sensible Don, is, I try out different looks. Today I got the ball cap look.
Yeah.
And, some people, Sensible Don, are front runners. They'll buy the cap of the national championship team just because of their national championship. And some people always will be the front runner. Like, you'll see people this weekend with Pats and Giants hats on. And I'm not a front runner, Sensible Don. I would never, ever wear a ball cap just because they're the national championship. I've owned this Alabama hat for 3 years. For 3 years, Sensible Don.
So you're a supporter from the
So do you like the ball cap, the cowboy, or the other cap?
I like the cowboy hat.
You like the cowboy hat?
Yeah.
You know what?
I like the story behind the cowboy hat.
As everybody saw yesterday, though, it's hard to do the cowboy hat and put on the phones.
Yeah, it wouldn't work, huh?
Quote of the day: "The law is not a light for you or any man to see by. The law is not an instrument of any kind. The law is a causeway upon which, so long as he keeps to it, a citizen may walk safely." That's a bunch of crock.
You got that right. You got that right. Ask that cop to hit the kid in the head with the stick.
Today in history is when Bill Clinton said, he went on the air publicly, and he said, "I did not have sex with that woman."
And it was true.
I did not have sex with that woman.
It was true.
Today's birthdays, the octuplets. You know that one woman that had 8 kids and wants everybody else. Octomom. Her birthday. Those kids' birthdays today. Helen DeGeneres' birthday. She's 53. Good old Ellen. And Eddie Van Halen is 56 and still rocking it out. Sad to report, we have a Corporal Christopher Singer, 23 of California, lost his life in Afghanistan. God bless him. He was at 29 Palms, California, which is a great song, by the way, by Robert Plant. And my brother was stationed there. 3-day forecast. Hey, guys, it's raining today. And it's going to rain a lot. But Friday's sunny, Saturday's partly cloudy.
We got a flood watch in
Flood watch. Flood watch.
Flood watch. Do you know the difference between a watch and a warning?
Yeah, a warning means it's happening.
Yes.
A watch means there's the conditions that it might cause.
It's kind of like when you're a kid and like conditions are favorable for you to get a whooping, Your mom will say, "You better watch
favorable to get a whooping."
Better watch it.
You're right.
Then Dad comes in the room. "I'm warning you." He whips off the belt. Whack. It's done.
You're right. Here we go with some history. U.S. forces headed over there during World War I President Woodrow Wilson and his wife looked for visible ways to demonstrate their support for the troops. One of the ideas they decided to put into effect: sleep on the White House lawn. The Wilsons brought in a flock of prize sheep to graze on the grounds at the White House. The idea was that the sheep would save the manpower required to cut the grass, and their wool could be auctioned off to supply money for the Red Cross. The sheep took up residence outside the White House in April of 1918. Among them was a ram named Old Ike, I wonder how much sheep he had, that liked to chew tobacco. After the sheep were sheared, 2 pounds of wool was sent to each state to be put up for auction. The wool that went to Massachusetts sold for $1,000 a pound in an auction held on Boston Common, making it the most expensive wool of all time. The herd grazed on the grounds of the White House for 2 years for being shipped back to Maryland farm they came from. What a goofball Woodrow Wilson was.
Woodrow Wilson was an educator.
He was the president of Princeton.
Yes.
But you know what, though? He was the biggest snob of all the presidents in history. And he was from the South. He was very much a racist. Did you know that?
Absolutely.
Very much a racist.
Absolutely.
Now, the one thing that I disagree with those people that are critical of Woodrow Wilson is this. I think the League of Nations and the United Nations and NATO are good ideas. Now, I'm somebody that wants to keep our armed forces independent. We're going to stay in command. But nobody's going to tell me that the idea of every country in the world having a place to communicate with each other is a bad idea.
It was a bad idea because the League of Nations had the biggest stand. That's why the Japanese walked out.
The Japanese walked out.
And guess what? It led to the Second World War also.
Yep. All right, now I've not tested this joke, so I'm going to give it a shot. So if it falls flat, it's not my fault. While on a road trip, an elderly couple stopped at a roadside restaurant for lunch. After finishing their meal, they left the restaurant and resumed their trip. Oh, I've seen this trip. This is good. When leaving, the elderly woman unknowingly left her glasses on the table, and she didn't miss them until after they were driving for about 40 minutes. By then, to add to the aggravation, they had to travel quite a distance before they could find a place to turn around in order to return to the restaurant to retrieve her glasses. All the way back, just like we husbands do, we grouched and fussed and complained and scolded his wife relentlessly during the entire drive. I can't believe you left those glasses. Oh, my God, we're wasting 40 minutes. The more he chided her, the more agitated he became. He just wouldn't let it go for a single minute. To her relief, they finally arrived at the restaurant. As the woman got out of the car and hurried inside to retrieve her glasses to appease her husband, the old geezer yelled out the window to her, "While you're in there, you might as well get my hat and credit card." Isn't that just like a man? Isn't that just like a man?
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I mean, God, that's just like a man. And that just leads us right into Shakespeare. And is it not strange that desire should so many years outlive performance? That was before the days of Viagra, Mr. Shakespeare.
Thank you very much.
That's pretty good. It is strange that the desire would outweigh performance.
Don't tell me your troubles.
There's a famous story
I'm
about
married too, you know.
There was a famous story of Aristotle, who was pretty much of a ladies' man, that when he was like 80 years old, a hot woman walked by him, and he didn't have any urges, and he said out loud, "Thank God the curse is over. No more having desire."
Is it a curse?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a curse.
Thought it was a gift.
It could be a gift. Could be a gift. You know, today, this is hilarious. I decided to have a feel-good song and a feel-bad song. This is a first ever Sensible, Don. We're breaking out a feel-bad song. But before we do the songs, we got Jack Wagons. First Jack Wagon is Bill Menifee. He's just a fat, lazy Gallatin County deputy sheriff who dogged me on Facebook, so I decided to Jack Wagon him.
Wow.
That's what happens when you dog me on Facebook. The Dona Ana County Jail in New Mexico. We're going to get to this in legal. True story, Don. A guy was arrested for DUI. Never had a trial. Never saw a judge. Never was in the courtroom. Was held for 2 years in the county jail. He got a $22 million award.
Absolutely. He should have got the state.
Ann Coulter, I'm going to explain why I'm going to Jack Wagon up. You know, those people that think I am a crazy conservative libertarian, I have jacked up Bill O'Reilly, Britt Hume, Ann Coulter, almost everybody on Fox News at one time or another. Kane, I jacked up Herman. The oracles of today, Gabby Giffords, how do you not?
Agreed.
Governor Jan Brewer of Arizona for pointing her finger at Barack Obama. and Senator Rand Paul, who told his story last night on Hannity, and I tell you right, it's something else. So here is all of those jackwagons, and to all the oracles. By the way, this is funny, Sensible Don. More and more people are sending emails lobbying for Oracle or jackwagon status. They're saying, well, I got this one kid wanted me to jackwagon up his teacher. I get these. I'm not kidding. I get like 100 emails a day. People want me to jackwagon up. Hey man, will you make so and so an Oracle? Because their kid like made a basket to win the game. We got a high standard here for Oracle status.
Did the kid get the teacher's name?
No, but you know what? I probably ought to jackwagon her up just for fun. A little bonus history for you. This is just too good to say. I'm watching documentaries now at night because the DVD player works. Attila the Hun, before he sacked Rome, the Pope went out there. He didn't do it for the Pope. They gave him 6,000 pounds of gold, equivalent in today's dollars, over $100 million. Hey, I wouldn't sack Rome for $100 million.
Yeah, pay me. I'll leave you alone.
I would.
When we return, pop culture and more radio superbity on Real Talk 1160.
Laura Ingraham comes your way today at 9 o'clock, 9 to noon on Real Talk 1160. And now, back to the Bulldog.
This is the Bulldog, Eric Deters on Real Talk 1160. I tell you right now, we definitely have a rebel alliance.
No doubt about it.
The Bulldog and you and Ingram.
That's right.
Michael Savage on the way. We're going to have lots of cowbell around this place. By the way, Chuck Holbrook calls the law office the Fortress of Solitude, the League of Justice. And now that we're going to merge with Larry Forgey's firm, who's down in Frankfurt, we're calling it the Southern Field Command. Is that funny? We all dream about being superheroes, Sensible Don.
I know we do.
I got to give a big thank you out there to Lori Taylor, though. At noon on Saturday, I have a conference call with 3 executives about some radio stuff.
Okay, sounds good.
Don't worry, Yinger and Jamie, it's not about leaving the station. It's about syndication and maybe some reality television. You know what, Sensible Don? I wrote out some things last night, and there's going to be one smart person in America. I don't know who the big wig's going to be, but there's going to be one smart person in America who is smart enough to say to themselves, wait a minute, this crazy dude named the Bulldog and his sidekick Don does a radio show. And are you telling me that he really goes out there every day and practices law, and those are some of the things that happen during the course of the day? And they're going to be smart enough to say, radio show, reality television show, you talk about a marketing. I mean, it would be incredible, the cross-marketing of the reality television show and the national radio show. Somebody smart is going to do that for us.
You know what?
What?
If you move to that point in life, there has to be somebody walking behind you. Just keep saying, "You're just a man, Bulldog."
Exactly.
You're just a man,
you know who
Bulldog.
I got to do that? The chief judge at home.
You're just a man,
She reminds
Bulldog.
me. She reminds me of my humanity every day. Chuck Holbrook told me he'd call me out too if I ever got too big for my britches. Kind of like one of them high school teen movies, you know, like where the one kid is like a nerd and then he becomes real popular and leaves the other nerd kids, and then the other nerd kids say, "Come on, man."
You're just a man.
Let's do pop culture, Don. Enough about me. You know, sometimes, Don, you talk too much about me, so then I get talking about me. You got to stop bringing up me.
You're just a man, Bulldog.
Right, TC?
Yeah. Don, come on.
Barry Manilow is coming to the Bank of Kentucky. He's calling it his Mandy Tour
Oh, I
on
mean,
April 20th at 7:30.
You
Let's get
laugh at that
tickets.
one.
You guys want to go?
You know what? I like Barry Manilow.
Oh, you do?
I do. I like
can't believe you
him.
do.
I do. Mandy is great. I write the songs is great. I do now. He's a little weird, but I like his music. Demi Moore, get this. You know how rich Demi Moore is, right?
Yes.
She's hospitalized for huffing nitrous oxide, which is apparently little teenagers do it for a high.
Yeah.
She's huffing Oh, my God.
You know
Bruce Willis, you got to go save that woman.
You know what the problem is?
What?
She thinks she's getting old.
And you know, Ashton Kutcher is out partying after
In
it all.
Australia somewhere.
Yeah, she better watch it. She's going to die hard.
Yeah.
Who said it?
TC. How about Seal? He now says he may reconcile. That a boy, Seal. By the way, we've had a Seal update every day. We will continue to keep you updated on the Seal Heidi Klum events.
How about a Seal joke?
You know, go ahead. You got a Seal joke?
Seal goes into a bar. Bartender says, "What can I get you?" Seal says, "Anything but that Canadian club."
That's good. That's good. Play your little music for it. That's good.
He is good.
I'm going to get sanctioned again if she hears this, but I don't care. We're men, okay? We're men.
Yeah, we are.
You have to admit, when you like somebody like Heidi Klum, do we not just wonder what she looks like naked?
Oh, it cross your mind all the time.
Oh, yeah, every 6 seconds.
Just about right, every 6 seconds, right.
Now, there's some sick people out there that wonder what Seal looks like naked.
They are.
But not us.
Not us.
But not us. Here's some fun stuff. Jay Leno told a joke about Mitt Romney's house, and it was this big gold, it's called a Sikh in India. It's like the most sacred temple in the world, right? The Sikh. And he was saying this was Romney's house. Those people are suing him for a joke. And they've contacted the State Department and filed a formal complaint. Now, I got to ask you a question. People tell Catholic jokes, Jewish jokes, black jokes, but God help you if you tell a Mohammed joke or an Indian joke.
You got a problem.
Is that not hilarious?
That is.
Jay Leno's in hot water.
What the late night talk show host meant to say
Yeah,
was.
what the late night. That's good. You're right. My final thing in pop culture, I guess I should have put this in science. Napping. Now, this is weird because I've been talking about napping, and I had big sleep last night. I slept from 11:30 to 2:30. So 3 straight hours was good for me.
Nice.
I've been up since 2:30, and I'm ready to roll. The Wall Street Journal had a big thing about napping and how wonderful it is. But yesterday they had something on nagging. And they say in this feature story that nagging is more toxic to a marriage than even infidelity.
I agree.
The nagging.
Absolutely.
I agree.
And you know what? I agree, man.
Any man would agree.
At the risk of getting sanctioned again, my wife's New Year's resolution was to not nag.
How long did that last?
About a week. I keep reminding her. I said, man, there you go again.
One day as long
Then
as
again,
yours,
the problem is, it's my fault. There's a lot to nag about. I mean, it's my fault. There's a lot to nag about with me, man.
Realize it. Yes, it is.
There's a lot to nag about. And then on napping, I'm watching history last night, fascinating history. And Truman used to take a nap every afternoon, and he would do it for 20 minutes. And he said you had to get down to your shorts. In other words, he said you couldn't nap I nap with my jeans and boots at the office. And I'm thinking to myself, the people at the office would think a little weird if I got down to my drawers, as Truman called it. And then one other thing before we get to legal on history. God, the history is so awesome. They told the story last night in this history thing about FDR getting married to his 5th cousin. Eleanor Roosevelt was his 5th cousin.
Right.
Teddy Roosevelt walked Eleanor Roosevelt down the aisle.
I didn't realize that.
Now, just imagine that. FDR, his TR, walking Eleanor down. And you know what TR said to FDR as he handed Eleanor the hand in marriage?
And?
Way to keep it in the family.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
Wow. Man.
This money ain't going nowhere.
Hey. For that, we're going to give TR Oracle status.
Oh.
Now, I got to ask you another question here. Okay, 5th cousin, they say, oh, that's legal. In fact, in Kentucky, I think Ohio, you can't marry a 1st cousin. You can marry 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and nobody knows what the hell. Do you know what a freaking 4th cousin is?
Don't know him.
Now, I want to tell you something. I'm willing to admit this stuff, all right? Now, I know you're not allowed to marry him or go out with him, but there's probably few men that haven't had a crush on even a 1st cousin.
Right.
Have you had a crush on a 1st cousin?
Nah.
I've had a crush on a cousin.
I still got a crush
No,
on
I
my
take that
first
back.
cousin.
I had a crush on a girl when I was a kid, and then found out we were related.
This is hilarious. This is going to be too much information, but I don't care. That's what Bulldog's all about. Growing up, Josh and I used to like tease each other. He had a crush on my sister Susie, and I had a crush on his sister Gretchen. So we used to tease each other, make each other sick and throw up.
You still got the crush?
No,
What happened?
it long passed. All right, you ready for some law? Some law. You know what? You're going to go to hell if you chop off the head of Jesus outside of church.
Oh, yeah, you
and that's
go.
what some thieves did in Boston. They chopped off the head of... Sensible Don, why would you chop off the head of Jesus?
What is your problem? The basement of hell is waiting for you. That's right.
Stephen Scott spent 2 years in solitary confinement. Solitary confinement at this jail, the Dona Ana County Jail in New Mexico. He had dental problems, never got medication. Depression problems, never saw a doctor. Never saw a judge, nothing. He says jailers walked by him every day for 2 years, and they kept that guy. And now I'm thinking to myself, no friends, no family, no lawyers, nobody did anything. The jury gave him $22 million.
That should have been a criminal case. Those people should have been locked up that held him. They should have been locked up. 2 years. Now, this is funny. 2 Republican legislators have passed a law, or they introduced a law, not passed it, saying that if all the Florida stadiums, Tampa, Miami, basketball, baseball, football, do not give back all the money that was given to them by the state, they are demanding that all the homeless in Florida get to live there. You're joking.
No. True. They get to live there.
Oh, at all the stadiums.
Yeah.
Why do they want the money back? What did they do?
Can you imagine this guy? Just picture this, okay? All right, come on in. Game's over. Come on in. Now listen, you got to get out of here by 6 because we got a game tomorrow.
That's one way to fill the stands.
Yeah, that's right.
We do that in Cincinnati.
Yeah. Let me see. New case of interest. This is a case I like to share with people. Larry Forgy and I, my buddy, he used to represent the coal industry. We got a case. These people came to me, and in Whitley County, they own a farm, 200-acre farm. Some coal company has been mining all their coal without a lease or their permission or anything. And they went up to the coal company and said, why are you mining on our property? They said, here, sign this lease and give us permission. They said, hell no. Now, I don't know nothing about this kind of law. Larry Forgy says it's a good case.
Absolutely.
So I'm giving it to Larry. Larry, go sue their ass. Get us some coal money.
There's no doubt about it.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen of Bulldog Nation, if a coal company is mining coal on your property without your permission, Eric at ericdeters.com. When we return, more radio superbity. Thank God the women are gone today on Real Talk 1160. Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. We got competition now for Green Water commercials.
Which is good.
Jim from Verona. Green Water. Don't blame us. You're the one that bought it.
I like that. That's Jim from where?
Jim from Verona. And Bob from Aurora. Buy the new Green Water John Calipari 6-pack called Blue Water. Due to NCAA sanctions, JC Blue Water will only be allowed to have 4 bottles in a 6-pack.
Oh, I like that. We got to hire this guy.
Green Water, official health drink of the Obama health care plan. Don't worry, taxpayers. Green Water doesn't cost and it tastes like
But it costs a billion ooms.
Billion ooms.
Yeah.
Are you ready for some sports?
What's going on in
sports are light.
By the way, I want to thank these guys. I just saved the ones I've got. All right, we'll just keep these.
Right.
Well, these guys keep sending them in.
Keep sending them in. They're good. Xavier lost 73-68 to St. Louis at the Cintas Center. I tell you right now, this is interesting. Is Mac's job in jeopardy? I don't think so.
You don't think so?
But I tell you right now, they were supposed to be good.
That was a long streak that they blew.
UC messed them up, man.
Yes. The fight.
The Red Hawks of Miami lost to Willie's Toledo, 63-61. The Buckeyes defeated Penn State 78-54. I think Penn State's mind was elsewhere. The Colts' new head coach is Chuck Pagano, the Ravens defensive coordinator. And by the way, it looks like based upon what this is what Peyton Manning's saying, he ain't going to be a Colt. How messed up is it? He's your franchise quarterback for all these years, and your owner hasn't even spoken to him.
What's the problem?
Is that not messed up?
Yeah, what is
How
the
do you
problem?
not even talk to her? You know, that's screwed up,
And
man.
he was a great
and Peyton's
quarterback.
a good guy.
Great.
So why wouldn't you just talk to him and say, here's what we're going to do?
You see his commercial with the bus?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
funny.
isn't that funny? Oh,
Hey,
I
tell you, the commercials that are out there right now are direct TV. The one about ended up in a ditch.
Yeah, right.
And now they got the one about dog collar. You don't set a bad example, because then they'll do a bad example, and then they'll drop out of school, and then they'll meet undesirable guy, and then the next thing you know, you got a grandchild with a dog collar. I mean, I don't know how. It's just hilarious. That wasn't an exact rendition.
But the one ended up in the ditch.
Ended up in the ditch.
Oh, that was hilarious.
I laughed so hard.
That was funny.
You know what? The old butterfly effect,
Yes.
You act tough, everybody wants to take you down.
Right.
Yeah.
I know the feeling of that, man. Everybody wants to beat the hell out of me.
But see,
Bulldog really fought in MMA. I want to challenge him.
You wouldn't land in a ditch. You'd land in a creek filled with green water.
There you go. Stagnant green water.
The Heat beat Detroit, and the Lakers beat the Clippers. Who else cares about the other team?
So what?
And Roger Goodell has had his contract extended through 2018. And that's all we got of any. Now, also in sports, we got our first show and tell for our video cam. And I'm really proud of this because it's just kind of fun. You know, my MMA fight was actually sanctioned. Sanctioned fight, sanctioned referees. So I actually have an official MMA record of 0-1.
You in the record books.
And I've been waiting to find some 70-year-old dude that I could beat the hell out of it, even up my record. I tell you one thing, I'm not going to fight a cop next time who's 15 years younger than I am. But anyway,
10 inches tall.
we had posters made up. We had fight posters made. It's just funny because the poodle didn't have fight posters. So I was kind of taunting him by putting fight posters up of me. And I'll turn this around and show the video camera. But what it said, here, I'll set it down here. You can see. This is hilarious. It's Eric the Bulldog Deters. Need a lawyer? Need a burger and a beer? That was when I was in the restaurant business, dumbass. Need a cage fighter? Need a talk show host? Call the Bulldog. And it says, Eric the Bulldog Deters beats up the poodle. Saturday, August 29th at Dearborn County Fairgrounds. You know, we had a fight over there because Kentucky and Ohio doesn't let old men get the hell beat out of them in cage fights. But it's kind of cool. There's actually a fight poster. These are going to be collector's items.
So they protected you in Ohio. They wouldn't let you fight, huh?
Yeah. And you know what? I have to admit, I never told my wife this because she didn't even go. Oh, she was going to kill me for even doing it. I've never told this to anybody. It did do something to my cheek. I got something wrong with my cheek.
Did it crack it?
I don't know. Maybe my sinus is something in there.
Get the doctor look at it.
Call an attorney. You can sue.
Hey, you missed one thing in a while. You haven't talked about the fact that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar now works for the President of the United States.
What's he doing for him?
He's an ambassador.
To what?
To the Muslims.
To tall people?
No, he's a Muslim.
I'd like to appoint Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as my tall person czar. He is going to be an ambassador to tall people everywhere in the world.
He's a tall one.
You know, I'm envious of tall people except one thing.
What?
This is an observation.
Okay.
And you're going to agree with me.
Observation.
No really tall person lives to be old.
That's true. Wilt Chamberlain.
Seriously, do you see any like 6'6" person 80 years old?
No, they
never
don't exist. They do not exist.
So it pays to be short and stumpy like us.
More
Well, you're
time
kind of tall
around.
too.
Yeah, but not that tall.
Local news: Hamilton County Health Commissioner Tim Ingram is retiring February 1st. He's going to get a total salary 165, pension 135, double dip. And people say, "Well, you know, no. Why should you get a retirement check after 25 years? And you started at 18. You're in your 50s. You're retired."
Right.
It violates the work till you die rule.
It's too young.
Yeah. Military gets that, though.
Yeah, the UPS, the Hebron supply chain solutions out of UPS, laying off over 400 workers. Ohio expands its Monster partnership, the public-private relationship, to try to improve people getting jobs. And then also, this is pretty cool. The Fountain Square owner, 3CDC, they're seeking, and this is on my blog and newsletter. I'm not going to give it out because you're not going to be able to write it down anyway. Vendors for the summer and fall. Like if you wanted to be a vendor down there, we ought to drive the Snappy Tomato bus up there. You know, we got like for festivals.
You got a bus?
We ought to park that up on old Fountain Square.
Well, how come you don't have
Have a
one of those
green water
trucks that you...
stand.
A green water stand. There you go.
There you go.
How come you don't have one of those trucks you serve food out of?
We do have one you serve food out of.
Then how come it's not downtown?
I don't know. We should have one.
Let me take it down. I can drive.
And finally, in local, you're a good driver.
Yeah.
And finally, in local news, Buskin Bakery is hooked up with Walmart. They're going to have little original ice cookies stamped with Valentine's Day message in 3,200 Walmart stores. Hey, TC, why is Green Water not yet in Walmart? I mean, can you tell me the biggest retailer? I mean, are we going to stay boutique? Or are we going to go national?
Well, see, they're lowballing us, you know. So,
Are they?
Yeah. So we're talking with Macy's now because Martha Stewart's out. So
Yeah.
the designer of bottles.
That's a good. I'm glad you're our marketing guy. It makes good sense. She sells clothes, and Macy's would want to replace clothes with Green Water.
Yeah. You're right.
I get that.
Fits right in, doesn't it?
I get that. Our company's in trouble.
We wonder why.
I'm going to call a board of directors meeting. We got it. Sensible Don, I think we need to change the direction of our marketing.
And why is everybody so upset about Solyndra? We look up to those guys.
Celinda's our hero.
Oh, no doubt
Exactly.
about
We
it.
have the Celinda logo labeled on our bedposts at home, don't we? And in our homes, we fly the Celinda flag outside our houses.
I have a
determined.
question. This has been bugging me for a week now.
We got all the answers.
There was some sort of animal we talked about a few weeks ago that was going to be our mascot. Mm-hmm. What the heck was that thing we were talking about?
God, I forget.
Do you remember what?
Badger. Was it a badger?
No, it wasn't a badger.
Was it Ermine? Was that the name? Was
Oh
it-
yeah, it was Ermine. It was the weasel.
Weasel.
The weasel.
Okay.
Because the front was called an ermine or something. Yeah, it was the weasel.
Ermine?
Yeah, weasel. No, but that's its white stomach. Yeah, we were gonna have the weasel. It's gonna be
The
the
weasel.
mascot
Okay, all right.
for Greenwater.
Okay.
That is awesome. The weasel. Let's face it, the weasel's the most insulting word. Let's pick the weasel. You know, everybody else pick a cuddly little bear. No, Greenwater's got the weasel.
Oh, you
Yeah.
weasel.
Even cuddly
Thank God
bears
my
do
nickname
toilet
was the
paper.
Bulldog and not the Weasel.
Bulldog
Right.
with the weasel.
The Weasel Nation. Good God, the Weasel Nation. You know, we got to label the next enemy that we have the Weasel.
The weasel, right?
I like
And I'm
that.
sure they lined up waiting anyway. Here they come.
We're the Weasel. Did you see? We got so much in politics. We're going to dive in this. We got topic after topic. Did you see where Obama lands in Arizona out on the tarmac? And Jan Brewer's out there to greet him, welcome to Arizona, talk about the Arizona economy. And he gets mad at her how he was mentioned in the book Breakfast with Scorpions that she wrote. And she, you know, because he apparently was like condescending to her and treated her like a little girl at the White House. So she kind of took after him in the book. So they kind of got into it. There's a picture of her pointing her finger at him. And apparently they talked over each other. And then he turned around and left. Holy smokes.
What, do they think they're doing a talk show?
Hey, no, exactly.
You in my state, I could wipe you out here, boy. That's
Barack
exactly what she said.
Obama, man. Oh, my God.
She's a powerful Republican.
Yeah, in Arizona.
Yeah, he needs that state, doesn't he?
Yeah, did you see? That's a swing state. Did you see where Obama says he's not going to mandate this, but he says that the federal government's going to, I'll tell you right now, they're going to pass a law that encourages people not to drop out of high school till they're 18.
Encourage a law.
There's 30 states that let people drop out.
Yeah.
So he wanted to encourage, and I'm thinking to myself, wouldn't it be nice if on all tax and regulations and Obamacare, he thought the same kind of way? We're not going to mandate this. We just want to encourage you.
Right.
Yeah.
I wish we had an
Strong
encouragement policy across the board.
And
Encourage you.
And see how that works.
Well, you know,
Unbelievable.
they're thinking about that in Kentucky now, the General Assembly.
Right.
Raising it to 18.
Right, that was in the front page of the paper. Good point. How about Newt? Newt's apparently got a Reagan problem. You know, he's been saying he's Reagan. Yeah, rah, rah. In 1985 and 86 in Congress, Newt had some disagreements with old Ronald, and I'm going to lead some quotes. President Reagan is clearly failing. His administration's weak policies. They have no strategy to defeat the empire. Pathetically incompetent. And he called the summit with Gorbachev the most dangerous summit from the West since Adolf Hitler met Neville Chamberlain in 38 in Munich.
Talking about coming back and biting you in the butt.
Newt biting your butt.
He was a little wrong on that one.
When we return, we're going to have what Ann Coulter had to say on Real Talk 1160.
Real Talk 1160 is on Facebook. You can keep tabs of your favorite talk show hosts and listen to live streaming. So log on to facebook.com/Real Talk 1160. And now, back to the Bulldog.
This is the Bulldog, Eric Deters on Real Talk 1160, and a couple items I missed in sports. One, Reds Caravan begins today. And then also in legal, Garth Brooks donated $500,000 to a hospital in Oklahoma to name a wing for women after his mother, his late mother. They didn't do it. He sued and got $1 million.
That's a good investment.
Good for Garth Brooks.
That's a good investment.
You know, man, you know, somebody gives me $500,000. Okay, sure. What do you mean name after you?
So they took
Get
the money
$5
but didn't.
plaque, put it on the wall.
Exactly.
I'd say that's shameless.
That's shameless.
Sorry.
He played that as his closing. So he just said, "Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm just going to play this song for you as my closing." And he played "Shameless."
Did he?
This is a first, ladies and gentlemen of the American jury. Things are so bad in this country. You know, we hear about the UPS laying off people, and despite all the talk, you know that unemployment is really, really bad. I think that, like in the tri-state, 57,000 less jobs, and this is just my theme song. If Barack Obama gets reelected in 2012, and this is courtesy of Bulldog Nation member Jason, is the one that emailed this to me, and we're going to play this from time to time to remind everybody what happens if you reelect Barack Obama. It's from the Doors.
Beautiful.
We're not going to play this. Those of you that know this song, we don't play it all the way to the end. It gets pretty bad. The end. It's the end, Don.
It's coming.
If Barack gets elected, it's the end. The end. You know what? Jim Morrison was messed up, man.
Yes, he was.
He was like one permanent long acid trip.
He's a true cult leader.
The end. He's a handsome dude. You think he got lucky in California with the babes?
Oh, no doubt about that. Ain't no doubt about that.
I have to admit, I get jealous of some. Those people are so damn good looking. Like Rob Lowe, he's too pretty.
Yeah, that's why he can't make it. He's too pretty.
He's too pretty.
No woman's
He's
going
a
to stand
weirdo.
next to him.
You know, Jim Palucci in that one movie said, girls don't like you. You're too pretty. You intimidate them.
But, that is a fact.
Yeah, women don't want to go with somebody prettier than they are.
You're not going to show me up.
They want to go with ugly guys like you and
Right,
me.
that's right. Come on, baby. Let's go. Make me look good.
I have no idea why my wife fell in love with me, man.
Oh.
She's really beautiful. And you make me look better. All right. Ann Coulter, she claims Romney is the most conservative candidate. I'm thinking to myself, Paul, Santorum, Kane, Bachman, even Newt. If she's right, I love taking down somebody who's supposed to be a real popular analyst, and I like Ann Coulter, but let me just prove Ann Coulter wrong and cut her legs out from underneath her. If she's right, if Romney's the most conservative, then why is the entire non-Romney issue the conservative voters' issue?
Right. That's the whole
I mean,
issue.
in other words, sorry, Ann, then why is all the conservatives struggling with Romney?
That's the mountain he's trying to climb.
Exactly. Her last line in her column said, conservatism is an electable quality. Hot-headed arrogance is neither conservative nor attractive to voters.
Agreed.
And pound salt. And for bothering Newt, which, by the way, we bash Newt, too. We're going to jack wagon you up. Newt versus King. Newt had to admit to John King only his two daughters and not others were offered to ABC News to rebut the X. He said, we've offered others. We offered other people too. No, you didn't, Newt. He forgot that. The Univision debate. Newt was attacked again about his affairs and all that and the difference between him and Bill Clinton. And he said, wait. I didn't lie under oath.
Right. That's the difference.
33% of GOP voters want a different GOP candidate. That's so goofy. I do agree with Ann Coulter on that. She says voters act like it's American Idol, Like next.
Right.
Silly. State of the Union. I can't believe I missed this. That his plan, 30% taxes, would in essence double capital gains. Can you imagine what would happen to our country if you doubled the capital gains tax from 15 to 30%?
Business is running.
Oh, my God.
Mexico, here we come.
Newt has a huge advantage in the religion category in the primary. There's 68 million Catholics in this country. There's only 6 million Mormons.
That's a big number.
That's a big, big number. By the way, Hispanics are usually Catholic too.
Right, absolutely.
Baptists are only 16 million, Methodists 7, and Assemblies of God 3. Now, if Newt were to win, he'd have a huge advantage over Barack Obama because he would have 68.5 million Catholics and only 1% are atheists.
Oh, so he get that 1%.
Wow. I remember last year when after Gabby Giffords was shot and they were going to do the Kumbaya and let's all sit together at the State of the Union. You notice they didn't talk too much about this year. After 1 year, they're like, I ain't sitting with him anymore.
No, I'm not.
I sat next to her and she stunk. I hate her guts. So much for that. That didn't work out, did it? By the way, God bless Gabby Giffords for going out there yesterday, and she did her resignation. And I think the biggest news yesterday when Gabby Giffords was out on the House floor was that John Boehner didn't cry too much, and that we found out that Debbie Wasserman Wentz Schultz actually has a heart.
She does.
She cried.
She does.
That woman actually has a heart.
Wow.
But everybody cried when they see this woman struggling to get up after somebody shoot her in the head. Can
Absolutely.
you imagine walking within a year, somebody put a round in your head?
What a sweet lady.
Oh.
We got to give Gabby the old Oracle
You have to
status.
pat her on the back every time you see her.
Now, ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, you have heard me say on this radio station and my blog and newsletter tell those old stories about working on the farm and my buddies coming over and working on the farm and how I worked on the farm regularly till I was 19. And even at 48, my dad calls me up to go help put in hay. And I did clean out a horse stall with Tricia Mackey.
Yes, you did.
That brought back memories. Not Tricia Mackey, the horse stall.
The older?
I cleaned out a lot of horse stalls. Every day. You know, the girls at the house used to always complain about the dishes. You know, had to do the dishes over and over again. Well, we had to clean out the horse stalls over and over again. I kind of could relate. You know, it does get old. Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, do you remember last night, or the night before, excuse me, when Barack Obama said we need less regulation, smart regulation, smart regulation. And, of course, there was a regulation that was going to be passed that farmers out west were going to have to deal with dust. They were going to control dust, and that got killed. You're not going to believe this. This is from the USA Today yesterday. I mean, this is incredible, Don. Under new federal rules, they would prohibit children under 16 for being paid for operating most power-driven equipment, including tractors and combines. Ladies and gentlemen, I was driving a tractor at 12. Some student learners would be exempted from the ban on operating tractors, but only on equipment with rollover protection and seatbelts. It would bar those under 18 from working at grain elevators, silos, feedlots, livestock auctions, and transporting raw farm materials. It would prevent youths 15 and younger from cultivating, curing, and harvesting tobacco to prevent exposure to green tobacco sickness, which is caused by exposure to wet tobacco plants. Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, I grew up in the tobacco field. Nobody ever got green tobacco sickness. I was helping put in tobacco when I was 12. Prohibit use from using electronic devices such as cell phones while operating power-driven equipment. So if you're on the tractor, you can't use your cell phone. The legal age for children to be employed on a farm is 16 and would not change. The Fair Labor Standards Act also allows children 12 to 15 to have non-hazardous farm jobs under certain conditions. Now, the proposed regulations would not apply to children working at farms owned by their parents, but they would prevent youngsters from doing some jobs for pay at farms of neighbors and relatives.
It's crazy.
Sensible Don. I mean, it's just one issue after the other with this Congress and with this president. And by the way, Congress can't do nothing about this. These are enabling regulations that the FDA, the Agriculture Commission, they can just do it. Sensible Don.
Why would you prevent a child from learning a work ethic? Why would you do that?
Oh.
Why would you stop people from developing a work ethic?
My dad always employed neighbor kids on the farm.
Because they needed that experience.
You know what? There is one silver lining in this. What do you think the odds are when I call upon everybody to take up their arms and go to Washington that we might have a good crowd of farmers there?
The farmers always show up when it's a fight.
Do you believe that?
This is
regulate. I mean, talk about regulating all these little 15. And how do they enforce this?
That's a good question.
They're going to have enforcement officers?
Yeah, walking around the farm. Undercover officers, 16 years old.
Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, if you're for Obama, you're a dumbass. On Real Talk 1160. Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. They unleashed me about June around here, and they haven't been able to collar me yet.
They've been working on it.
TC had a report at the break that a Bubba Watson, a golfer, paid $110,000 for the Dukes of Hazzard's General Lee.
He did.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
That was
General Lee.
That's one of the best TV cars of all time.
That was that in the Starsky and Hutch car.
But we all know that was not just one car.
Yeah, they had more than one General Lee.
Right.
Now, the one he bought was the one used in the opening credits. They called it General 1.
General 1?
Yeah, the one that jumped over the police car.
You know what? You couldn't do Dukes of Hazzard now.
No.
Too politically incorrect. Confederate, the rednecks would be mad.
You can do Archie Bunker now.
The dipsticks would be mad.
Right.
You couldn't do the Jeffersons now.
You couldn't do the Jeffersons now. Isn't that hilarious?
Isn't it? I mean,
back there, everybody's laughing at all them shows.
I thought it was hilarious.
You know what? George Jefferson was one of the funniest characters of all time.
Oh, that's right.
He would get himself. He would always get sanctioned during the show. He'd get sanctioned
by Wheezy.
Wheezy. I always say.
And Archie Bunker. God, he was
Another
such.
great character.
Him and Meathead. When him and Meathead argued. Oh my God.
And Meathead just threw his hands up there.
Right. And what's so funny is people don't realize that he showed his bigotry was so bad it was funny.
Yeah. It was well written.
I mean, it was so
show.
over the top. It was like, God,
and they made
come on,
point.
Archie.
Nobody could be this stupid.
Exactly. And when George would come over, remember?
Right. And guess what?
God, jeez.
And guess what they left? What George left behind? He gave his walk to President Obama.
He did.
The swag.
The swag.
All right, so here we go. We're going to remake the TV show. We're going to have Bill O'Reilly as Archie Bunker. We'll have,
That's a good one.
Rahm Emanuel as Meathead.
Yes.
Herman Cain can be George Jefferson.
Yeah, Herman.
And Michelle Bachmann can be Edith.
Yes. Oh, by the way, that's another thing that was unbelievable in Jefferson. The interracial marriage.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I mean, that was like way before its time. Way before its time.
And people say, "Oh,
now it's no big deal." But back then it was, oh my God.
That was an outstanding show.
George sure didn't like it.
Oh no! What the zebra?
Hey, here's something good. I got to share this. On the way in here, I listen to the Washington Times, which is a really good show. And if you never tuned in at 6 o'clock, you can listen to the Washington Times, and they kind of cover some national things. And they had Bob McEwen from Ohio on, and Bob McEwen made a great defense of Newt. One thing he pointed out, he said in Florida it's even. Romney has spent $15 million. Gingrich only $1 million. But what he pointed out was, and then after he said this, I remember all that. When the Republicans in 1994 took over Congress, okay? What happened was, or 1992, when they took over Congress and he became the Speaker, what happened is none of those Democrats had ever given up their committee chairs. So he canned them. So they started the ethical violations against Newt. Right. But here's the other thing. Remember the big showdown with Clinton, the government shutdown? Right. And Newt Gingrich said, nope, we're not going to increase, we're going to pass about. And Clinton, they head butted heads, right. And the government was shut down. And guess what? Clinton didn't get blamed for it. Newt did.
Got blamed for it.
And McEwen says that all around the country, in every congressional district, they ran anti-Newt commercials. They didn't run against the Republicans. They ran against Newt Gingrich, and they just pounded. But in reality, Newt was right.
He was absolutely right.
He did a standoff with Bill Clinton and said, let the federal government shut down.
I'm not doing this. Simple as that.
I mean,
so
that is pretty interesting. And McEwen was defending that. And he's like, hey. And I'm thinking to myself, would Romney do that? No. Romney's a wimp.
No.
Romney's a wimp.
Back off in a minute.
State of the Union ratings. This is interesting. Now, remember what I said, Don? I said, you know what? One thing that worries me about the State of the Union address is a lot of people are going to watch that when they don't normally pay attention to anything in politics. Right. So that's all that they see. Well, I was right. There were the Fox viewers were 3.8 million, MSNBC 2.8, CNN 2.7. And the Jersey Shore, which is the largest cable audience, 7.5 million, 37.5 million viewers on 14 broadcast and cable stations saw the State of the Union. 37.5 million. Now, I thought, oh my God. But guess what? That's 12% down from last year, 42 million. 21% from 2010, 48 million. And its first year, 52 million. So we've gone from 52 million watching down to 37.5 million. That's not good for Barack Obama. The enthusiasm is waning.
It's gone. It's
pretty incredible.
Yeah, it is.
They need a halftime show.
Right. You're right.
They need a halftime State of the Union show.
I still wish they'd just submit the damn thing. There's a debate tonight, and you know what, Sensible Don? I never get this. Mitt Romney was winning the race across the country in South Carolina. He went into the Monday's debate 2 weeks ago and tried to play prevent defense. Right. You, me, TC, every football fan out there gets so mad when you're watching an NFL football game and your team's kicking butt, playing great D, and then you go into the prevent D which allows the other team to go down the field. So Mitt Romney played prevent D. What happened? Newt blew by him. So guess what Newt does on Monday night? Prevent D.
Right.
He doesn't show any feistiness. He lets him beat him up. Some jackwagon advisor decided, hey, Newt, come off calm and everything else. No. Hey, Newt, being feisty and throwing punches got you there. So what happens? They're even again. Romney has stabilized. So Newt has got to do what got him there, throw punches.
Yeah.
Tonight, throw punches.
So the bigger bully wins.
Yes. And you know what? The crowd is going to get the cheer tonight. I don't know if you saw that debate the other night, but it was weird when there's silence. Nope. It's weird.
You throw your zing out there, nobody says anything.
Right. I've got a theory about the Nancy Pelosi attack on Newt Gingrich. It is so obvious that David Axelrod and the rest of them want to run against Romney so bad. And I was shooting the breeze with Willie last night. And the reason why they want to run against Romney is because he represents their target, that 1%. I mean, come on. He's all about taxing the rich and this. Wouldn't it be awful nice for Obama to run against a guy that represents, $21 million a year in passive income? Absolutely. I mean, he's a poster child for the 1%. So I got a theory about Nancy Pelosi's thing because Newt went on Hannity last night and said, there's nothing there. I was found not guilty. I paid the $300,000. Wasn't a fine. I paid the lawyer fees because my lawyer screwed up and told me I had to and I didn't. So anyway, I'm thinking to myself, Nancy Pelosi is just on the Democrat team to try to help Romney get elected.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, so it's kind of funny. Newt handled it well. He goes, I'd rather be bashed by her than have an endorsement.
Right.
And Mitt Romney goes on and says, well, Nancy Pelosi's going to give all this information. So it's hilarious. The Democrats are trying to help Romney get elected so they can kick Romney's ass.
He's the patsy. He is the patsy.
He is the patsy.
No doubt about it. He doesn't know that. The dumb bus driver can figure it out. He can't.
But he can't.
You want him in office?
I hope the voters, because you know what? They're going to look at Gingrich and they're going to say, Gingrich is going to throw some punches, buddy. Hey, I tell you right now, you know what Mitt Romney will do? Mitt Romney will do the same thing as John McCain did. Right. He's going to go, well, let's not talk about negative Jeremiah Wright. Let's not talk about this. He's going to do the John McCain thing. Newt Gingrich is going to throw bombs.
He should.
And we need bombs thrown.
No doubt about it.
By the way, speaking of John Jackwagon McCain, John McCain is going around advocating no more debates. He doesn't think we have too many debates, so we should have less debates. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, what's more American? Now, don't get me wrong, there's probably been too many Republican debates, but you know what? What's it hurt?
Nothing.
I mean, are you kidding me? Because let me tell you what the good thing about debates. It helps take the money out of it.
Thank you.
If everybody's debating and everybody gets to watch, it's kind of like it isn't the money, it's the substance. And guess who rose from the debates? Newt rose from the debates. So we want the guy who's going to buy the election or the guy that performs well in the debates?
The guy that performs well. The guy that I know something about. The guy that's saying something, not buying my vote.
Do you believe John McCain?
Oh, absolutely.
What an establishment. Ugh.
He has to be paid. Somebody
Mr. Keating 5.
Oh.
Mr. Keating 5.
Oh.
Mr. Leave your wife and marry somebody else for sole political purposes.
And money.
Waits on you while you're in the what do they call them in Vietnam? The Hanoi Hilton. Hanoi Hilton.
Yeah,
he gets back and says, honey, I want to get divorced. What? I would have shot him.
Why not?
I would have shot him.
Yeah, I got out of that.
When we return, I'm going to tell you Rand Paul's version of the TSA report. We're going to bait you. I get coached a little bit. They say you should bait people more. We're going to talk about Newt's vote on Medicaid deed. I've got some cuts for you. A Paul Ryan update. Special Forces update. An Andrew Jackson update. Yeah, there's an update. And my feature for today, you're not going to want to hear that. You're not going to believe this. It's called Obama the Liar. Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, you saw Obama go on the air yesterday, or 2 nights ago, and say it's not about politics. I cannot believe, once again I'm going to brag, nobody in national talk radio is going to reveal to you what I'm going to reveal to you on Real Talk 1160.
And check out the other guys this afternoon, and you can talk sports with Jeff Pecoro, Rick the Brick, and Jay Lance, 5 to 7, here on Real Talk 1160. Now back to the Bulldog.
This is the Bulldog, Eric Deters, on Real Talk 1160. TC, is there any way you can let John Bick in from where you're perched?
I suppose I could do that.
All right, he says he's here.
Okay.
We might as well let him in. I gotta just, by the way, we've got a feel-good song. Let's go ahead and do a feel-good song. We love that intro song, but this is TC's feel-good song for us. He picked out the feel-good song. He tells me I'm going to recognize it and love it.
You
by
will love
Chicago.
This. Bringing back memories yet?
I can definitely tell it's Chicago. Yeah, I remember this. Harry Truman. I like it.
Great tune.
Harry Truman. I know his life by heart. I could give a 30-minute overview of his life off the cuff.
When you think about this,
remarkable human being.
When he left office, his numbers were outrageously low. But people finally figured out the man was a great man and he did the right thing. The bomb that he dropped on Japan was the best thing you could ever do for that
This
war.
country would do well if we just elected one Harry Truman after the other.
That's right.
Not a big shot, not an egomaniac.
Honest, real man.
Let's clone him.
Some of the anecdotes are just incredible. I'll share a few because I know the American jury likes to hear these. Truman was a haberdasher,
right.
hat store, and he went bankrupt.
Before the First World War.
And today, that would have been a terrible thing.
Yeah. Was this company taken over by Bain?
No. Oh. And he was a farmer, and he was a lousy farmer. One of the neat things about him when he was president, and they told him he couldn't do, is Pendergast was a godfather in Kansas City.
The man.
It was a machine, a political machine.
Right.
And they backed Truman to become judge executive. People don't realize this. Truman was like in his late 40s, early 50s when he was elected to his first public office. Judge executive for one term in Jackson County, and then United States Senator, then vice president, and then president. It was like 6 years, county judge to president. But Truman went to his funeral. And they told him, you can't go to this guy's funeral.
Because he had been convicted.
Because he had been a mafia kind of guy.
Right.
And Harry Truman went, as president, I get goosebumps. Is that not loyalty?
That's right. Stuck by the man. No matter what he did.
Stuck by him.
He treated me right. I'm going to his funeral. Period.
I mean, it's just, good golly. Good old Harry Truman. And he just, the old buck stops here. Yeah. And here's another thing before we get on the next political topic. Harry Truman, and I watched something about Kennedy last night. And Kennedy, and you just think about like Barack Obama surrounds himself with all these advisors, George Bush. So they played John Kennedy's own words. And Kennedy talks about being responsible. And all your advisors are disagreeing and split. And after the Bay of Pigs, where he listened to his CIA and others, and he fired them, he said, get the hell out of here, Dulles. And he fired him. And that's when he turned to his family and Bobby. He said, the hell with, I don't trust any of these jackwagons. I'm going to go internal. Harry Truman said, and he had some good advisors. He had Stimson and Secretary of State. But he said, when he really, 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 really needed, and those of you that might wonder my love of history and how my love of history plays a role in my life and how it would be if I was president. Truman said when he really, really had to make a tough decision, he would turn to Plutarch's Lives. Plutarch was the great Roman historian. Actually, this is interesting. He was actually a Greek, but he wrote Lives, 2-volume sets of all the famous people in the ancient world. Plutarch's Lives, biography, so to speak. And Truman said that he could learn more about what to do from reading Plutarch's Lives than all of his advisors put together.
History will tell you every time.
God, Truman. He fought in World War I. Not one person got killed in his artillery unit.
Yep.
He lived with his in-laws all these years. He didn't even have his own house. He lived with his in-laws.
He didn't have a house when he left the White House.
He was supposed to lose to Dewey. Of course, that's a famous 1848 when 1948 and woke up to victory. Good old Truman, man.
Dewey disappeared from that
Truman became president, and like right after he became president, Sensible Don, he didn't even know about the Manhattan Project.
Right,
so they said, we got an atomic bomb. Really? He made the decision to drop that sucker. He made the decision about NATO. He made the decision about the Marshall Plan to save Western Germany. I mean, he was president like for a month, and he had to make all these major decisions.
And they all worked.
And he made the right ones.
Right. The Marshall Plan was the best thing he ever did because they failed to do that after the First World War.
My God, when you think about it, guys and gals, Republicans, Democrats, everybody in the Senate, where's a Harry Truman?
They don't exist anymore.
They don't exist.
They do not.
I mean, Mitch Daniels isn't a Harry Truman. None of these people are Harry Trumans.
They all.
I think the closest thing we got to Harry Truman in this country, and he couldn't even get elected dog catcher, is me.
Yeah, the scrutiny would destroy you from stay out.
Last night I watched Hannity. Those of you, I like sharing how I do this. I do my second shift when I go home, and I work with. This is kind of crazy. I'll have Fox News on, then I turn to sports. I got my radio on. I'm writing, I'm reading, I'm interacting with the family. It's a multitask amazement. But anyway, Rand Paul, when he went through that, I thought maybe Rand Paul said he never said he was a senator. Not one time did he play the senator card. He goes through the screening, and it went off because of his knee. He pulls his pants up and says, there's nothing here. He says, can I go through the screener again? They say no. So they put him in a cubicle. He goes to use his cell phone. He goes, well, now that you picked up your cell phone, you got to go through a full body pat down. He goes, what the heck's that got to do with the cell phone? I mean, they treated him like dirt.
Right.
Finally, he gets the head TSA guy, and they let him go through the screener again, and it didn't go off. So guess what, Don? The screener was malfunctioning. I mean, they mistreat the guy. Plus, doesn't it make you feel good that, it beeps 1 minute, doesn't beep the other?
Right.
And Rand Paul's point is all this TSA stuff does is make us more miserable, more expensive, and doesn't keep us safer. It doesn't keep us safer. He pointed out something like, why don't we have a speed line for all those people that travel regularly and are absolutely zero risk? Because to this day, the terrorists generally have been radical Islamic Muslims. And I know we got the Timothy McVeigh exception. But the bottom line is that, come on. The average American isn't a terrorist.
Which is true.
So anyway, I liked hearing his side of the story. It was pretty good. Great feel-good song there, TC. Medicare D. Now, here's another thing. Medicare D is that unfunded prescription drug plan, which was stupid. The Republicans and Democrats both voted it, and it was unfunded. And it's a bigger item in the budget deficit and the problems in this country unfunded than Social Security. Newt was attacked by Romney about that debate the other night. Now, I'm kind of shocked. Romney is winning the Hispanic vote by 15 points over Newt, which kind of shocks me because Newt is a lot better on immigration if you're Hispanic or an illegal alien. Right. But get this, I'm thinking, what state has more senior citizens than any state?
Can we say Florida?
Yes. So I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I disagree with the vote, but you know what? How does that not help Newt?
That has to help him.
And he was strong in his defense of that.
Yeah.
I mean, just pounding away on it.
They vote too.
Here's some items for cuts, and I already knew these, but I didn't know the items, and I'm just going to give Human Events and John Stossel credit for it because he pointed some of these out. Department of Education, $100 billion. HUD, $41 billion. Commerce, $9 billion. Amtrak, sell it. You would probably net close to $200 billion. And guess what, Sensible Don? That is the same amount of money that the Democrats and Republicans couldn't agree to over a 10-year period of $2 billion a year would be $2 trillion. So just that would do more than what. And are you kidding me? We have to have the Department of Education, Housing, and Commerce.
No, we don't need any of that. $2 billion is chump change. Take it out the budget.
Interesting comment from Paul Ryan. He believes that we could actually win a bipartisan bill on budget deficit if Obama is not elected. He claims Democrats are on board. Obama is the problem.
See what happens. Interesting.
More kudos for our special forces. I apologize. I got to read this because I don't know the story by heart. And U.S. Special Forces swooped into Somalia on Wednesday and rescued an local American, and a Dane after killing their 9 kidnappers in a rare raid in the Horn of Africa nation to free foreign captives. American Jessica Buchanan, 32, who lives here, from Warren County, and Paul Hogan Thisted, 60, of Denmark, humanitarian aid workers for a demining group, had been kidnapped from the town of Kaliko in the semi-autonomous Bulldog region in October. Mogadishu. I love that word. Mogadishu. But anyway,
How cool. Those special forces and pirates ain't got a chance, man. Damn little pirates.
They drop out there.
Hey, those pirates got cap guns and pellet guns and BB guns, maybe a 22. Look, we got a 22 rifle. You know, one of the neatest things, that I thought, remember that seal that killed the pirates from a raft with it actually floating, and he calculated, it's like a mile away or something, and he shot him right in the head.
The real
That
shooters.
guy's good.
Man, I want that guy on my flag football team on Real Talk 1160. Eric Deters, the Bulldog, on Real Talk 1160. Our good buddy John Bick, who was supposed to be here today, is unable to make it because somebody wanted to go down to Ropke Automotive and they want to buy a whole bunch of cars. So we had to turn around and go see him. It was some kind of a special deal. How do you like that? That's a good reason not to show up for radio. So you hear that? If you need a good deal on a car, a used car, a new car, or your car has been wrecked, or your car needs some work on, go to Ropke Automotive right off 275 at the Covington Independence exit, and John Bick and his brother will take care of it. It's kind of cool. John Bick from Ropke Automotive runs the front of the house, and his brother runs the back of the house where they take care of cars. But we want to thank Ropke Automotive for not only advertising on the radio station, but for also sponsoring my newsletter.
You said something the other day when you were doing your State of the Union.
Yes.
And you mentioned that the average age of a car now went from like
6 years to 10.
Yeah. So go to Ropke. I mean, their service department's incredible.
That's a great point.
That's how you keep it running.
And in fact, that's right. If you got to keep the cars longer because of the economy, so you go there. And you know what? I run my cars into the ground. My car has 150 to 200,000 miles on it before I get a new one. In fact, this was funny. All my kids and my wife had newer cars than I did until I finally got the truck. Now I got the newest one.
Regular maintenance at Ropke.
The old
take
truck.
Care of it for you.
Regular maintenance at Ropke Automotive. Let me see. I got a few things here. I already talked about that. Oh, here are some messages that we've gotten from some Bulldog Nation members. Chris from Mount Healthy pointed out, we forgot about this, TC. The Bandits Trans Am. Boy, Trans Ams were popular back in the day. Bulldog Nation member Justin said the only thing that John McCain ever blew or threw was the pins. God, that's funny. And Bulldog Nation member Ron says that there's a General Lee in Taylor Mill in the High Ridge subdivision, and there's 11 General Lees, and one resides in Taylor Mill.
Is that right?
So how you like that?
You got to go take a look at them. Hold on 1 second here.
Sure.
Broadcasting 101. See, when that mic light is on, Don, walking, talking like that. That's just sort of a rule we have around here. Okay, back to the show.
So simple, Don. I love it. He's a loose cannon. Now, I got a tip. Now, everybody knew that I kind of took Glenn Beck to task for beating up on Andrew Jackson, and it was all about the Indian issue. Come on, the Indian issue was a terrible stain on Andrew Jackson. But I like to point out, Mr. Beck, that, Andrew Jackson was the last president who left office with zero debt. He knocked out the central bank, the Second National Bank, and guess what? More community banks. He was a populist, and I'm sitting there thinking, Glenn, isn't that what you're all about? Well, when Romney points out to Newt Gingrich that he's the only Speaker of the House who's ever been censored, all right? Well, guess what? I don't think that's true. I could have swore there was another person in history, but it doesn't matter. Andrew Jackson was censored by Congress. He was publicly censored. I believe he's the only president to ever be publicly censored. And the reason why he was publicly censored is Nicholas Biddle, who was running the Second National Bank, had a lot of friends in Congress. And this is funny. Everybody talks about when Congress leaves town, you do things. Well, when Congress left town, Andrew Jackson took all the government's money out of the Second National Bank and put it in state banks. And boy, was Biddle and Congress mad. So they censored him for that. So Newt ought to just say, you know what? Andrew Jackson was censored, and I was censored, and I will stand with Andrew Jackson any day of the week. And he also ought to quote Andrew Jackson of this: one man with courage is a majority. One man with courage is a majority. Was not William Wallace one man with courage a majority? Was it Martin Luther King one man with courage
a majority. Sensible Don, am I not speaking the truth?
Absolutely. And the fact is, King was a man that stood up when it was necessary to stand up, and the man put his life in jeopardy. These chumps walking around now call themselves activists. They aren't putting anything on the line.
No.
King put everything on the line.
You know what? When you put your life... Nelson Mandela, one man
Everything
with courage is a majority.
Right.
It gives me goosebumps what some people did.
Yeah.
Winston Churchill, one man with courage. Lincoln, the Emancipation Proclamation, his cabinet didn't want him to do it.
Right. And it causes death in the end.
Jeez, oh Pete. You know what? I like history so much that, man, if you're ever in a position like that, how cool it is to do something that strong and that memorable. I mean, that's what life's all about, Sensible Don, is having the guts to do what's right.
Yeah, you look at the tombstone, you see that day you were born and the day you die. That slash in the middle what really means something.
And here's a great example is, because it's always the quest for money. Right. Don't get me wrong, I want money. Yeah. I joke around with Chuck all the time. I says, Chuck, when am I going to be rich enough to where I ain't got all the stress I do? Because I love what I do, but it'd be nice to have the money too. But you know what? I wouldn't trade my life for anything. The things I get to do from morning through night is incredible. But you gotta leave a mark, man. You gotta leave a mark, and you can do that through courage more than you can without courage. Right. Look at Gabby Giffords. I mean, there's courage, man. There's courage.
As long as somebody speaks your name on this earth, you will never die.
Yeah, I tell you, I was flattered. I got an email from a member of Bulldog Nation who works. I'm not going to say where she works, but she works, and she's having a career crisis. Doesn't know what she ought to do. And she's a writer, and she sent me a Facebook message saying that she'd like to talk to me and get my input. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, how cool is that she respects me so much that she wants to get my advice on what to do?
They want my opinion. That's a good thing.
Yeah. All right. Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, I'm a lawyer. I am taught to think logically, clearly, communicate clearly. And, this is incredible. And nobody, to my knowledge, has pointed this out on any of the national talk shows. Remember the State of the Union speech, part where Obama preached about working together, having each other's backs, and it's not about politics, Sensible Don? Remember that speech?
Yeah, remember that.
Well, because I've given money in the past to Democrats and Republicans, I'm on some mailing lists, okay? And I get email lists. Now, this was the message that I received, and ladies and gentlemen, the American jury, this is going to be on my newsletter and blog, which is sponsored by Robke Automotive, before the morning's out. It'll be up there a little after 9. This is the message I received before he gave the speech from Barack Obama, his campaign, Tuesday, January 24th at 7:05 p.m. Before I speak tonight, friend, this wasn't a political speech, Don. I'm heading to the Capitol soon to deliver my third State of the Union address. Before I go, I want to say thanks for everything you're doing. Tonight, we set the tone for the year ahead. I'm going to lay out in concrete terms the path we need to take as a country if we want an economy that works for everyone and rewards hard work and responsibility. I'm glad you'll be standing with me up there. Barack, support President Obama. Make a donation today, paid for by Obama for America.
It's not about politics.
It's an email that he sent on the way to his speech. The Lion SOB. I want everybody to know I just called the president a Lion SOB. Now I'm going to calm down.
Yes, please.
Your president, my president, can stand before 37 million people, watch on television, and claim it's just about America. Now, what did I receive the day after the speech from Nancy Pelosi? Eric, last night President Obama delivered a powerful message. Yeah. The world is watching. We've set a goal of raising $500,000. Da-da-da-da-da. Can we count on your support? Please contribute $3. Da-da-da-da-da. Contribute. From the Obama campaign. No, that's from the Democratic National Committee. Now, the day after the speech, which wasn't political, from Jim Messina, the Obama-Biden, there's a little letterhead, Jim Messina, campaign manager, Obama for America, friend. Boy, I have no idea. I got this because I gave $1,000 to Bashir. All right, last night for Bert Travis. Last night, I don't care. I never asked for a favor. I gave $1,000. Last night, the president went to Congress and defined in clear terms what we're going to be fighting for in the months ahead. This means that right now, it's on us to get his back and work like the hell to build his campaign. Use the back term. They use the back term. If we want to see his president reelected, it's time. In your name, and say you're standing up for the president and our shared vision for this country. We don't know which Republican is going to be our opponent yet, but here's what we know. Whoever wins the Republican nomination will have done so by adopting the extreme Tea Party agenda.
Extreme?
The president will be busy doing everything he can to demand action from a Congress that cares more about making a political point than governing. The same president who's asking for money before the speech, after the speech, is complaining that Congress wants to make a political point. Lying SOB. He goes on. And when they refuse to act, he will. Election year or not, that is his job. And he is going to be getting things done these next couple months. The campaigning is up to us. He's going on a tour of 5 states who are swing states. And then it contributes your money.
Oh, man.
How can they just lie like lying SOBs? It makes me sick. On Real Talk 1160.
Get your healthy radio addiction this morning at 9 o'clock. Laura Ingram, 9 to noon on Real Talk 1160. And now, back to the Bulldog.
Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. I just want to say, Sensible Don, we've delivered some big-time radio superbity today.
You know what? You had your Perry Mason moment just now.
Is that not incredible?
That was incredible.
He can go out there and tell 37 million people it's about working together, having each other's back, and he's sending out fundraising letters on his way to the speech, after the speech.
Send me $3.
And then the campaign manager says, "Oh, he's going to govern. It's the campaigning's up to us." He's going to 5 swing states in 3 days.
I wonder why.
I mean, Boehner's right. Since Labor Day, he's checked out and campaigning, fundraiser after fundraiser.
That's what it's about.
God dang it! How do they lie? You know what? When you stand before a jury or a judge, your credibility is everything.
Right.
I mean, you can't stand there and act. I mean, if something's bad happened to you got to say, "Hey, my client did X, Y, Z." But you can't pull wolves over jury's eyes.
And definitely not a judge.
People think that you do. You don't.
No,
you don't. Oh God, I'm all ready. You know what? We need another feel good song.
Do we? TC?
That Cars song I requested this song from the Cars because it just that bumper music with Cars. I love this song.
Cars are great.
The Cars are great, man.
Great
80s,
album cover.
The mid-80s with the Cars. Late
70s,
late
maybe.
70s. What's that guy named Rick? What's his name?
Rick Ocasek.
Rick Ocasek.
Yeah, he's in that Mick Jagger Seal category too. Not the best looking dude.
Yeah, and he's that funky dude in that video that he did. Remember, he's flying around like a bug. Oh, yeah. He's flying around like a bug. It's a famous video.
You might think. Yeah. And he was married to that model in that video.
Was he?
Yeah.
Another
Again,
seal
how does he get a girl like that?
You're a lead singer of the Cars.
That does it. That's it.
I mean, Bruce Springsteen is a rugged-looking dude, but if he wasn't Bruce Springsteen, give me a break.
Nah.
Here we go. It's all I can do.
Play this for Herman Cain.
We'll play it for Herman Cain. We're waiting on you, Herman.
Come back.
Did you notice yesterday that Dr. Kurtzman made fun of my lovey-dovey song,
yes, he
White
did.
Flag?
He made it fun.
I'm still mad at you, Kurtzman. I was trying to be sensitive to the women listeners out there. They say in the business P1s are people that listen all the time, P2s most of the time, but you really got to try to build the P3s and P4s. I don't know why they call them that, but they do. So, Dr. Kurtzman, I was going after some P4s there. You just smacked me down.
He was after you yesterday.
We got plenty of P1s. We need more P4s. Daryl Patosky used to always talk about those things. By the way, I had to call a truce with the Death Star.
Yes.
You know what? Sloaney and Tracy, I've been getting these reports. They've been saying good things about me.
Uh-oh, that's bad
Got
news.
my back. Tracy's been throwing my name around. Everybody that calls up needs a lawyer, he says, call the Bulldog. He'll get results.
Tracy's your boy.
Tracy's my buddy. Warren Buffett's secretary, guys, I decided to say a few little fun things at the end of the show here. Guess how much Warren Buffett's secretary makes?
$80,000.
Is that what?
Now, I don't know why this is a big, broad range, but I guess it's because some of the disclosure statements or something. She makes between $200,000 and $500,000.
Get out of town.
Secretary.
Somebody covering his back.
Whoa, baby. I mean, come on, man. That's as much as a big-time lawyer, a doctor.
And she probably doesn't have to work weekends.
Oh, no way, man. Hey, he's not going to be mean to her. He's going to bring her Dairy Queen. He owns Dairy Queen. He probably says, going down Dairy Queen, take an hour and a half for lunch.
But you do know why she's making that kind of money. She know where the bodies are buried.
Good point. Now, why was it so easy to get her tax information, but we can't get...
Well, this is funny that Rush Limbaugh actually said he wants to see her tax returns.
Yeah, that's what I want to see.
How much does she pay?
Can you imagine? I want to see your secretary tax return.
Hey, a Bulldog Nation member, I got to give it up to her. I tell you what, Rush... Rush is Rush because he's Rush, and I got to give it. If you notice, I've not jacked up Rush ever, and a Bulldog Nation member sent me because I can relate to Rush because I feel like I got some original insights, like what I just did on those news. Rush does the same thing. He comes up with some original insights, and they sent me a transcript.
But he's not as good as Dennis Miller at noon today.
Right, not as good as Dennis Miller. But he sends this thing to me. This thing to me, a transcript. And, everybody's up in arms about how long. Oh, man, this primary is going to go on too long. Rush points out something. The Obama-Hillary primary went on and on and on. And guess what? Made Obama a pretty good general election candidate, didn't it?
Right. Yeah, it did.
And that's a great point. He's not all for the beat. Now, here's the other thing. Federal workers, if you're a federal worker, I still love you.
But
especially if you're a federal judge. Judge Michael Barrett, if you're listening to me, I hope you get all the money from the federal government you can.
You can't mention his name. Sanction again.
Don't sanction me, Judge, please. I might mention some other judges. Judge Weber, Judge Black, Judge Bertelsmann, Judge
You're
Bunny.
You're going to need a lot of chapstick.
Judge Barrett's going to sanction me.
Yes, boy.
But anyway, you got to be careful. And I'm not sucking up to you federal judges either. Get all the money you can. But anyway, the federal workers and the military personnel owe $3.4 billion in unpaid taxes. Now I don't know how, why, but I'm sitting here thinking to myself, how's that happen?
Yeah, how does that happen?
I mean,
explain that to me. How does it happen?
I don't know.
Because I want to do it too.
Everybody scams.
The federal. Oh my gosh. Look at the bottom picture, second row, or the middle picture, second row, vertical. Holy!
You just jumped from one.
Don't videotape that.
You just went from politics to something on.
Oh my gosh! It's on that video screen. That's all I can do.
Oh,
Sensible Don, what do you think about that photograph there?
I like photographs like that. My mind's hanging in that direction.
Hello, Patty Euclid.
Meanwhile,
by the way,
radio station.
That was George Euclid. That was not a woman.
Okay.
That was George. Hi, George.
This is Real Talk 1160.
She's on the other side of the door there.
You can call us at 513-579-1160.
Oh, by the way, I want to apologize. We've made a decision here that we're going to start giving the phone number out and taking more callers. And I forget. So TC, seriously, remind me to give out the number because I forgot because I'm used to not giving it out. But 513-579-1160 and call all you want. We decided to start taking more callers.
And the reason is we're auditioning people for our Greenwater halftime commercial.
Correct.
So,
and if you say something, remember the rule. I haven't had to say this phrase for a long time. We want witty and wise, not plain and stupid.
We got enough of that around here.
Yes.
How much would that commercial cost us, TC?
Just under $1 billion. What is it, Super Bowl's like 300?
It's $3 million.
$3 million now?
Yeah, $3 million.
For 30 seconds?
But don't worry about it. We got taxpayers' money. We set aside $3 million in the fund to do the commercial.
So I got to trade in my Bentley. Right?
So far, we have enough enough money set aside to have. Hi, I'm George Clooney for.
That's it.
We'll get the rest next year. So.
That's funny, man.
That's a start, though.
George Clooney, he's in the new Ides March. You know what? George used to always. I got a little different perspective, and I like George, but George was always like playing it cool. George seems to be seeking a little attention these days.
He's getting it.
He's going out. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It seems like George may be being a little needy.
He got that pretty woman on his arm.
Stacy Keibler. She was voted best legs in America or something like that.
She does
in her WWE days.
Oh,
Stacy Keibler.
Somebody told me she was a wrestler. That's true.
She was a WWE wrestler. She was a wrestler.
That woman.
Hey, you know what? Can you imagine, George? I got a few holds I like to show you.
Yes, come here, George.
How about some scissors? Ping.
Step over toe hold.
Jeez, old Pete. I don't think I'd like to have a girlfriend that could kick my ass.
No, leave her at home. No.
You know? Jeez, old Pete, man.
I just wouldn't let anybody know.
Tomboys. You ever date a tomboy?
Yes, I did.
You did tomboy?
I did it.
When I was like 8.
And they tough.
Well, you were 8. My sister Celia was a tomboy, and I swear to God, she could throw a punch.
That's right.
I'd be honest with you, Celia might be able to kick my ass.
That's right. And they'll fight you to the last minute.
I mean, he wants to fight a tomboy, man.
But they'll
Tomboys
take
are
you-
bad.
They will take you on.
They're bad.
Do
And
not
you
back
can't
down.
win. If you beat him up, everyone says, so what? You beat up a girl.
Exactly.
And if it goes the other way,
Yo, you're right. You're right.
You're like Rick Perry.
It's
you
like
know?
these women that are like female wrestlers. I would never want to wrestle a female.
No.
You beat them, you beat a girl. She beats you. Ah!
I always dreamed about having a Jello wrestling match. too.
Jello wrestling match.
I
You're
dreamed
the
about
best
There are
Jello.
no losers in Jello
No,
wrestling.
the best Jello. There's 2 best Jello wrestling matches of all time. One was in old school when Blue died. Remember that when the 2 girls started walking towards him and Blue went heart attack. And the other one was in Stripes. Remember
Oh,
John
yeah.
Candy? That girl acted like she was crying. Oh, I'm
And then
sorry.
she-
Pow!
Yeah, she popped the snot out of him.
Popped
didn't
the
she?
snot out of him. Them girls were mean. Mean.
Well, can we have a Jello wrestling
You know what
match?
though? God, Jello wrestling's just so sticky.
Come on, let's have it,
Nah.
Bulldog, at your
Hey,
next show.
we gotta let that other show have the Jello wrestling matches.
What show is
We
that?
we have a different audience.
Do we?
Our
We're in a
audience
different
prefers
audience.
Sophisticated
green water
people.
wrestling.
Green water wrestling. A wrestling match in green water.
The chunky
Now
cat.
there's a promotion.
Right there.
Let's get Shanna and Patty. Shanna and Patty, the Real Talk salesperson and office gal, green water wrestle.
Sounds good.
You think they'll do it?
We get a sponsor for that.
Every dog has their day. I hope tomorrow's yours. Radio Superbity. We'll be back tomorrow for more. Robke Automotive on Real Talk 1160.